All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 0 of quite literally the most valuable series you're gonna see on this channel, honestly, probably on all of YouTube, because I'm gonna be showing you behind the scenes, peeling back the curtain, the step-by-step, nitty-gritty step of building a business from 0 to $100,000 per month. That's just gonna be season 1. Then maybe we do a season 2 where it's 100 to 500 grand a month, and then 500 grand a month to $1 million a month. I don't know. We're just episode 0 again. We're gonna play it as we go through. But my vlog arm is getting tired. Let me sit down here for a second, and we'll break down exactly what you guys can get from this series. All right, so let's break this down. We're gonna tell a little story here. Back in the year 2020, crazy stuff went on in the world, obviously. But during that time, there was this guy named Cole Gordon who created a company called STA, right? Basically what STA did was he learned sales and got really good at sales and basically was teaching other businesses how to get better at sales, right? So here's how you do objection handling, sales scripting, all that kind of stuff. Now, what happened though, as a natural progression, is because people's sales went up, right? People's sales went up. What happened, they needed salespeople to then go into their business and start doing sales for them because they just got so good and they're like, well, I can only take X amount of calls every single day and I don't want to sit on calls every single day. So after tapping into his own network of people, of placing in the companies, is people really, really needed this thing. So what happened is STA, right, ran out of salespeople. So out of pure necessity, Mr. CG, right, Cole Gordon, he then needed to find other salespeople, right? It was either find more salespeople or something else was born, this thing called RCA. So RCA, also known as, it keeps focusing on my face, RCA, also known as the Remote Closing Academy, essentially what they did, he turned everyday people into salespeople, and that is where I came in. Now, I came in to, as already a part of the team, but I came in to start helping with, building out this RCA thing and helping out. But what happened is in the year 2024, so beginning of 2024, there you can see the timeline. What happened is RCA, we made this decision to shut down RCA. The reasoning, I won't get too deep into it, but essentially at the time, Cole, right, as the founder of the companies, is he had 3 different companies. He had a couple of portfolio companies, we had STA and RCA as well. So naturally, we're like, well, we should just focus on one of them to really scale that to the moon. And thus the portfolio companies were exited as well as RCA. That's where the RCA went. And we continued to do STA until the 14th, being yesterday of the time, or today, actually recording this video, is RCA is officially coming back. RCA, I don't even know what to draw because I'm super excited, but RCA is basically coming back. So what we're doing within this series is essentially what I want to do is, okay, we've already built RCA one time, right? And built it to a point, I think at the very top was doing like 1.5, almost $2 million a month through RCA. So what I want to do in this series is, because we already have a pretty good idea of not only like how this offer is going to be run and how it needs to be built, but we've also done this for over 4,000 other companies at this point, including people like Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Agora Financial, Rich Sheffrin, Pete Vargas, Todd Brown, Jeff Lerner, Tanner Chittister, Clients and Community, Alaric Heck, Joel Kaplan, Astro Flipping and Sub 2. Those are like some of the bigger names, but also just like people that were starting out at 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand a month and helping them scale. There's actually one dude, Eric Michael, shout out. Actually, he came in doing $30,000 a month and we're able to help him grow to over $1 million a month, teaching people how to make a little bit of money flipping and trading sports cards. So like, and there's another guy comes to mind, Josh Fear. I think he came in doing like, I don't know, like 40, 50 grand a month. And I think last month or over the last couple of months, he did 4 million in a single month teaching people how to stretch, right? He's a mobility coach. So it's just, it's really amazing that I could just kind of start this from ground zero and kind of just document the process of going from beginning to end. Now, let me be very clear on like my role within the company. So I work within the marketing side of things. Like that's my zone of genius, right? Organic marketing, paid advertising, the funnels, the scripting, the copywriting, right? Basically in that realm. Now, that being said, I'll probably jump into a little bit of the sales side just because we have a large YouTube channel where a lot of people, they usually close better when the person that they see and watch for hours on end are the people that they're seeing and they actually jump on the call with. So, but again, that's kind of the point of this entire series. So there's really two more things that I want to cover in this video that you can get as you're continuing to watch through. So number one is I'm going to do an actual team meeting. I'm going to jump on with one of our sales managers named Ryan and kind of just like set the stage with the sales team of like, hey, like this is my plan with marketing. This is what we should do moving forward. And really kind of just talk about that first aspect. The second thing is I'm going to go through our entire team structure of what it's starting out with, what is like the actual plan there. And then finally talk about our whole marketing strategy that we're doing moving into, or I guess say back into this vertical. Because a lot of people, and I do not, like a lot of people within the space, they never thought that RCA was coming back. And there's a lot of remote closing offers that are out there and high ticket offers that are out there now. And we didn't really do any sort of announcement or anything like that. It's just, we're going to start spending on ads and a lot of people are going to see it. And I'm genuinely interested to see how this all goes. So we're going to cover, again, the sales part of it, kind of do an introduction there. And then I'm going to go over our entire marketing strategy and what that's going to look like for the first 7 to 14 days. So let's get it. Whew. This is going to be a lot. Let's go.
What's up, guys? Dude, as you guys probably know, this is like something I've been so excited for since Cole told me like 2 months ago.
All right, so just jumped off the team meeting with Ryan, which is our sales manager, Luke, our appointment setter, and then Zach, one of our closers starting out. So I wanted to share this because I think it just is really bringing everything full circle. Is Zach, the closer, he was already on one of our podcasts before, talking about his experience when Remote Closing Academy was a thing at the beginning. But Luke, he actually wasn't on the podcast. I don't think we met like 1 or 2 times at one of our in-person events.
It's an hour-long podcast with Zach, and then they're gonna jump on the call. They're like, holy shit, I just watched this hour-long video of this guy, and like I feel like I know him, and it builds like so much trust. It's pretty insane.
I was gonna say that's how I actually decided to buy RCA, was watching the YouTube.
Let's go. Okay, perfect. So you understand the process there. Zach, go ahead.
100%.
And I saw an ad and saw Jared's video. I didn't see the whole thing, but when I saw Jared's video, it really built more trust.
One piece that I am interested in though, is because we've kind of been gone for a little bit over a year with this specific offer, is seeing what marketing angles still work and which ones don't. Because, again, the market is so much more aware now of what like remote closing and high ticket closing is. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens there. So hopefully you're enjoying this the series so far. I want to jump over to my desk and I'm going to do a little like whiteboard, little iPad sharing action and show you guys what is going to look like on the marketing side and really be able to show you guys how that's going to work. Let's go. All right, so we're over at the handy dandy iPad here where we're gonna break down a couple different things. Originally, I was thinking, well, let me just show like what we're gonna be doing, which I will do, but I also wanna make this valuable for someone that might be a little bit newer in their journey, right? If maybe you don't have a sales team or you're taking all the calls yourself, you're just trying to figure out how do I even generate leads? Well, I'll give you kind of the step one, like the 101, and then I'll show you kind of what we're gonna break down and what we're doing, because it gets pretty complex when you start to add team and spend and all that kind of stuff. So first things first is you might be, let's just say you're in a situation where you're trying to figure out whatever your product is. I have a bunch of videos on this page. You can go through and watch like building a scalable offer, I think is what it's called. Maybe I'll link it somewhere on the screen or down in the description, but that's around like how to actually create the offer. Now from a lead gen standpoint, because that's like the next piece that a lot of people are always struggle with when they first start out, is you have a couple different options. You have, well, really 2 options, right? You can do the paid route, or you can do the organic route, right? If you're just starting out, you don't have a budget, you literally don't have any money to put in ads. Obviously, if you don't have the budget, you can't, go the paid route, but organic, you can do a couple different things. Number 1 is you just do cold outreach, right? A really great book to read on this. I don't have it back there, it's somewhere, or no, it is $100 Million Leads. You can't see, it's cut off on the thing. $100 Million Leads by Alex Mosey. Great book. He breaks down this in a lot more detail, but you can do cold outreach, right? So that's emails, that's just cold DMs, right? That's cold calls, right? There's a lot of different ways to do it, but the biggest thing, and here's, I'm just gonna go 101 with this, is if you want to generate clients, this from a cold perspective, you need to do enough of this for it to make sense, right? I've seen, and I've talked to a lot of people, they get discouraged because they're like, oh, I'm not making money fast enough or whatever. And it's like, well, what is What have you done to generate clients? Oh, I reached out to like 3 people or 10 people or heck, 50 people. If you haven't generated the result that you want, then you just got to do more of whatever this thing is. And then one of 2 things is happening. Either number 1, your outreach style or type is wrong, right? Maybe it's the wrong messaging or whatever, which then you can change it up a little bit and then, you know, change it up, try it again and see what works. Or you're just not doing enough, right? So you're not doing it correctly, or you're not doing enough. Those are the only 2 things that could happen. Because if you're doing it enough and you're doing it enough and you're doing it in the right way, you're going to start generating responses, right? So organic, you can do that, right? Cold. Or you can do, you know, what I talk about a lot is content, right? So content creating for YouTube, Instagram, you know, LinkedIn, TikTok. My favorite, as you've seen the videos on this channel, which go watch some of my videos. I tell you exactly what to do for both of these platforms. The only thing to keep in mind though, and I just tell people to do this and keep it in mind all the time, is if you're going to post content, this is a much more, you know, if we take it one step further, this is going to be much more of a reactive approach, right? This is more proactive. Because, you know, these days with these platforms is you don't know, like you can have the best video ever. I can put out a really great video, but if it doesn't get in front of the right audience at the right time, then nothing's going to happen with the video. It's just how it happens. So if you're like, Aaron, I need to make money next week, definitely proactive route. And then literally make it. I was on a webinar earlier today, and the guy said, he's a copywriter. And he's like, if you need to generate clients tomorrow, just like do these things like your life depended on it. Imagine like someone had a gun to your head, or your family was in trouble if you didn't generate a client this week. I guarantee you, if your life depended on it or your family's life depended on it, you're going to get a client. So anyway, I digress. This is not a video of like motivation. Go do, like, if you want the thing bad enough, you're gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? So, okay. So proactive versus reactive. So that's that way. Or you could do paid advertising. So if you have a budget, right? Let's say, even if you had something like 20 bucks a day, right? And if you're just getting started, maybe 20 bucks a day sounds like a lot, but if you have 20 bucks a day, all you're going to do is, and I have a couple of videos about this on YouTube, is you're going to create your ad, right? Whatever that ad is, you're going to put it into Facebook ads. A lot of times the best ones, especially at a small budget, you're just going to do like boosted post ads. So boosted post ad. And then when you have this, you're going to get followers, right? And then all you're going to do is you're going to outbound your followers, and you are going to then get them on a sales call, which again, I have other videos on the channel. Actually, this specific strategy, you look at the channel, again, we'll link it down in the description, throw it up on the screen as well, and you can watch that video. So, but the biggest thing here, same thing over here, where it's like, okay, if you reach out to, let's say 100 people and you don't get responses, well, it's probably because you just didn't do it in the right way. Same thing here, right? Is this portion right here in terms of, I don't know why I can't, oh, there we go. This portion here, right? There is going to be some testing that goes into play. You're not just going to put, 20 bucks in and then just generate a client immediately that gives you like $15,000, right? It's just not the case. So what you just need to make sure where you set the expectations is take whatever your product price is. So let's say you have a $5,000 product, right? And there's a ton of different ways you can calculate this, but think about it this way. If you put in, let's say you put in even like 2,500 bucks, right? Let's say you spent $2,500 on ads and you generated a $5,000 client. You've literally just made 2 times your money. You've created a legal money printer, right? So again, it probably won't be this much as long as you're doing, you're outbounding all your followers, you're getting back to people on time, right? But the biggest mistake that I see people make at this beginning level where they're spending a small budget is they just have the wrong expectations, and they put even, $100 or $500 in. They're like, why haven't I generated the client? It's like, if you were able to put in $500 in something and make 5,000 and just make a 10x ROAS, return on ad spend, with no trying at all, everyone would do that, right? If it was that simple. But again, it's not that it's not easy. It's simple, right? In terms of putting the money in and doing all these things here in order to receive that outcome. So realistically, you can run this side, right? This strategy of just like sending messages, having conversations, sending messages, having conversations, running the ads. I mean, you can run that to upwards of 100K a month, right? Through this specific like ad strategy, it starts to, you get diminishing returns after a certain point because you can't follow up with all these people, through the inbound followers and the messaging. So just keep that in mind, as you're doing it. But then, one other piece, I would go into the sales process. I've already been talking for like 10 minutes on this part. So, okay. In terms of the sales process, I'll go really, really high level. So sales process again, if you're just starting out, all you're going to do is you're going to ask, all you need to figure out on these calls are a couple different things. Current situation, desired situation, let me just erase this really quickly because my handwriting is terrible. So current, desired, current situation, desired situation, cost of inaction, pain, and tried in the past. Now, there is more. Cole Gordon, he's put together videos on this all the time. He calls it the 7 beliefs the prospect needs to have to buy. There's pain, doubt, cost, desire, money, support, trust. These are like the main ones, right? Because if you can figure out where is the current person currently, where do they want to be, what is the pain or holding them back, what's going to happen if they don't take action, and put that in front of them back at the end of the call. And then you figure out what they've tried in the past, so you can put your solution in contrast to what they've tried to then make and ultimately make the sale in your thing. This is all you need to make sales. So again, I'll put together and break down some other sales videos. I've kind of gotten further away from the point of this video and telling you what we're currently doing. So I'll have something on screen when I first start this out, so you guys know where to kind of go from this video. Okay, so let's break down what we're starting with and how we're going to ultimately scale this. So first things first, let's talk about the team. So our current team structure is as follows. So I'm going to talk about the sales team. So we have a setter, appointment setter. So this person is going to be the one that calls the leads, outbounds the non-buyers. They're going to, and that'll make sense in your second, but we have a setter, right? So that's the appointment setter. We have the closer, and then we have kind of a sales manager / CSM. So this is actually a guy, sales manager, CSM. His name's Ryan. I've actually known him for probably 4 or 5 years at this point. But he actually came in, Cole reached out to him and was like, hey, you want to help build out this, rebuild this offer? And he's been a salesperson, a closer himself for years, right? So he kind of understood how to do it. He knows how to build out teams. I was actually with this guy on one of our other offers that we were on. And he's an overall savage. So he's basically going to manage these two people, right? He's going to manage the setter and closer. I should have put this the other way, but basically he's going to manage setter and closer. Then, now this is, so here's the thing. I'll explain our marketing team. If you're just starting out, you're trying to hit your first 100 gram ad, you can just do all this stuff yourself. Like Cole talks about this all the time. You want to identify your constraints and then hire for those, right? If there's people that you can't, that you can't find a replacement for, that you can just do it better yourself, at least at the beginning, is you want to get proficient at those skill sets and then hire them out. But I'm telling you what we have. So we have a CMO, which is kind of like his name is Spencer. He kind of oversees everything. We have me, which I work really closely with Spencer, and then also creative production. So I manage the editing team. I'm in the content. All right. I'm on the organic side. Another word for me is the talent, if you will. But we have CMO, we have me, we have our editing team, editors, which equals 3. And then we have our tech guy, and that's about it. If we're talking about just RCA, we have STA, we have our other companies, we have a recruiting team, whatever. But these are like the main people that are going to be basically running this. And then if you want to count Cole, I mean, he's more like the CEO and founder. So, he's not going to be like, in a lot of these decisions. But if you want to talk about Cole, then that's where he lies there. So that's basically what the team looks like. Again, we're like, most people aren't going to start there. You're going to start probably somewhere around here. But if you have a sales team, right, appointment setter, whatever, this will be very, very helpful for you. Or maybe if you're not here, I think, just seeing kind of how the inner workings work will be super important. So let's talk about our marketing funnel. So this is what a lot of people are probably wanting to look at, is what type of marketing funnel do you have? So what we are starting with, and I will add some context here, is we are starting with a webinar funnel. So essentially what this is, it is a I think, so let me just write this out here. So we have our webinar. So we'll just say Webby. This is I think it's 1 hour, 1 hour long video that basically sells. So webinar, it's a webinar. This then leads to a sales page that we're selling a product for $997. Right. So we're selling on this webinar, we're selling a product for $997, and then it leads them into a school group. Oops, let me just go back to a school group. Cool. So two very important pieces in here that make this work. So a lot of times people call this an SLO, which is a self-liquidating funnel. And basically what that means is we are going to pay money, right? So we're going to pay money through advertising to then push them here. And then in theory, we're going to try to liquidate a percentage of the money that we put in here, right? So if I look back at, because we used to run something very similar to this, is we were liquidating about 70 to 100% of the budget, which essentially what that meant is we were generating buyers basically for free, and we were generating leads for free. At one point, we were actually getting paid to generate leads, which, you know, if we look at the other side of things, which is the usually what people do is they'll do a VSL funnel, right? Or we'll call it a book a call funnel. Basically what that is an ad that leads to a, you know, like a VSL or a, you know, a video, right? Well, that's what the VSL is, a video sales letter. And then that would then lead to, that's an L. That would lead to a book a call, right? To book a call. But what happens here, and I'm not saying one is better than the other, 100% recommend doing this. Like we just do this version here because it's better for the P&L. And we're just always trying to figure out how can we like make the spend back. But realistically, I mean, you can, most of our other funnels we're able to scale to over $1 million a month with the VSL funnel. So I'm not saying like this one's bad, do this other one. It's just, that's the main reasoning why we are actually doing that. Okay, so then that's the VSL funnel. So the other difference in here that a lot of people, or that we focus on, that actually help us out a ton, is actually a pre part over here, which is called an opt-in. So what our opt-in does is we get their name, phone number, and email. Oops. And what happens is, so we get their name, phone number, email, and then they watch the webinar. Well, behind the scenes, what's actually happening is our appointment setter over here is outbound dialing all these people. Right now, what we're going to be testing, just so you can have a little insight here, is we're going to be testing, number one, having the opt-in in the first place. We're going to be testing like what is the time in which they should call them, right? So do we want them to call them immediately to where like in theory they're watching the webinar? Do we want them to, you know, maybe wait for, let's say, 2 hours to where in theory they've already like gotten off the webinar, right? Like, so we're going to kind of play around with what that looks like. We tried it in the past and I think it worked both ways, but times have changed. So we'll see kind of what that looks like. And then also where the setter comes into play, another little sneaky thing in here is essentially this school group, people are going to buy this for $997, right? So they jump into this thing for $997. But what we actually have in the group, it is called an onboarding call. And essentially what that is a group call where all these buyers, right? All these 997 buyers are jumping on this call with the intention to obviously make sure that they have everything they need, right? Going through the material, here's what you should have access to, here's how to get support, things like that. Like our group, that specific group will have coaches in there, people that are, you know, obviously there to help out. Like people can see success with that specifically. Now, here is where the key thing is this onboarding call is another way that it can be positioned is it's literally a setting call that whoever's running that, I believe it's going to be either sales manager or the setter will be running these onboarding calls, and they'd basically be setting them for the closing call. And what this is an upgrade, right? And it's an upgrade call where essentially they will buy our backend product, which, don't quote me, I'm not going to put the price here because I'm not 100% sure. What it used to be though is $9,800. I'll just put that here, and I'll do an update in the next update video. So $9,800 is what they would be upselling to. So they'd be buying it at $997, upselling into the $9,800. And in theory, we're generating these buyers for free, and we're upgrading to the $9,800. Right now, there are specific numbers that we're shooting for. I'm not going to share them yet because I have to go through a lot more data and figure out what it is. I'll share it on the next call and tell you guys how close or far off we were from KPIs there. But essentially, that's like the whole process. Now, one other thing that I missed right in here is in this like kind of pocket right here is we have what is called abandoned carts. Well, abandoned carts, abandoned/add to cart. And what this is basically in this, we'll just use a different color. In this, in the webinar, or I'm sorry, and yeah, so they go through the webinar, they come to the sales page and they might like click, add this to my cart, right? And they don't actually do that. So they have an add to cart or a completely abandoned cart. So they click the little button at the end of the webinar here, they go to view this page, but then they leave. Right, so where is he at? Our setter is going to do is get in contact with all those people as well to either get them onto and rebuy the webinar, or straight up just get them over here, right? Set them for the closing call that is going to ultimately sell them into the 9,800. Now, that being said, I think one other thing, and then obviously like that's what I'll have to make a whole other video around like the ads specifically, but all of our advertising is right here, right? All of our advertising is going to be going towards literally is getting people on this opt-in, bringing people to the webinar, getting them opt-in. It's an auto webinar, so it's not live. It's something where it's pre-recorded and they watch it, and it should in theory bring them through there. So again, in the next couple of videos, we'll break that down. Now I'll break down our organic funnel because this is obviously another really huge part of it. Organic funnel. So we currently, let me move this. I'm going to move this over a little bit more. So we have org funnel. So we have two different sides here. We have Instagram and we have, YouTube. So YouTube actually already has about 41,000 subscribers, which is a massive, massive thing for the business. Like the only thing that and again, that's why I'm creating the series, because you guys are going to be along with me, is I created a wait list that has about 2,000-ish people that I've literally put in their, name, phone, and email. So one of our setters' jobs is going to be to go through and just hammer these people because they've watched the YouTube channel. They've seen a ton of stuff there. So basically to be calling those people, prioritizing like the newest to the oldest, because it wouldn't make sense to call a lead that's a year old when we just shut down RCA. But so we have the YouTube channel. The posting cadence here is going to be 2 times per week. And what that looks like is going to be 1 podcast and 1, we'll put 2, is a value video. So basically just like step-by-step script breakdown, things like that. A podcast, basically what this is like a student interview. And what it does is, you kind of saw it earlier where the guys were given some feedback around it, but basically what it does is it sells that this thing actually works for people, right? And this is sent basically pre-call, so that they have an understanding of, that it's actually something that could work, and there are people that are seeing success with it. So that's going to be that. And then we also have our Instagram, which I've done a ton of videos about this specific thing, but essentially strategy here is the Instagram, right? The ads that we're running are connected to the Instagram page, right? People are going to go and do research on the Instagram page because they're like, oh, like this, you know, I saw this ad in this video, whatever. So let me go and see like what these people are up to, right? Are they actually posting content? So with Instagram, I mean, probably one time per day is what we're going to do in terms of posting. And then more specifically, outbound, all followers to set. Because, I mean, those people are coming directly from the ads. We're having a conversation with them. A lot of times if they're following, they're literally just saying like, hey, I just need a little bit more information. I need to be sold a little bit more on exactly, exactly how this thing's actually gonna work for me, if at all, right? So just something to keep in mind there is this will be a big part of it. Just having consistent content over there, which again, I've talked a lot on this channel about there. And yeah, I mean, that's basically the majority of everything there. So with all of that, I think that is basically where we're at. So really the next handful of videos today, like I said, is the 14th. We're launching technically on the 15th. We're gonna start putting money in the ads there and just see an idea of the numbers. So I'm gonna keep a really close eye on all of that. Obviously, I'm talking to Cole and Ryan and everyone on the sales team just to understand like where are we, what do the numbers look like, and if this becomes just a massive failure, which I mean, hey, anything is possible, but you know, we've done this a couple times and we've done it for over 4,000 people at this point. So if we couldn't do it ourselves, it'd be kind of sketchy, to say the least. So that being said, also feel free to follow me over on Instagram at Aaron Makes Content, because I'm going to do a lot of short form content around this entire series as well, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that being said, Aaron here from the YouTube channel. Leave a like if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date with the entire journey from 0 to 100K, and then past that, I guess we'll see what happens there. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you guys in the next one. Talk soon. Peace.